Welcome boys to the stream. Today is day 6. I'll be becoming a full stack developer in 8 months. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before the stream, I've spent quite a bit of time trying to fix my alerts to show if someone subscribed or not, and finally what I found out is I think there is a setting that each of you have on YouTube, a privacy setting that will either show or hide whenever you subscribe. So what I also did is I think I added a bot to the chat, and that will alert me if someone subscribed. So if the first option doesn't work now, at least probably hopefully we'll have the bot alerting me. I see so many people subscribed overnight and left me good comments on my past streams, which I'm really thankful about. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. I'm doing this to document my journey and hopefully inspire you to do the same. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Today we're starting to do the project Etch-a-Sketch from the Odin project, and I'm really excited. I have no idea how I'm going to build this, so we'll go through it together. We'll read the constraints and the rules and set up the project. Last stream, if you don't know, we uploaded the rock paper scissors game, as you can see, and now it even works on mobile devices, and it is not perfect, but it's playable. I can even show you on my mobile how it's looking, and you can find it at 3drps.netlify.app. As you can see, let me just pull up OBS so I can see what I'm showing you guys. So as you can see, this is the app, and if you turn on the sound, you can even hear it. Just a second. Yep. So pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that. But we're finally moving forward from it. It took me, I think, 3 days to make that with 3JS. But it was a very fun project and I'm very proud of it. So before even starting to read the documentation, I'm going to set up a GitHub repository. Alright, so we'll create a new repository that is going to be called Etch-a-Sketch. Make it public. Right, git ignore. Do I need that JavaScript? There is not a template for JavaScript. Anyways, we'll write our own git ignore if we need it. But I don't think I'm going to use Vite or anything like that this time. So yeah, I'm just going to create a repository and clone it. SSH. So we see the out of that going to repos ls, and we do git clone. Okay, cd into, it has to be capital, Etch-a-Sketch, and code dot git init, add a readme. So this is how you create a new repository on the command line, and I should probably get used to doing this as well. Right, let's just set up the basic boilerplate HTML, index.html. Alright, add in our script src script.js. Let me add the style sheet as well. Link style.css. Alright, create a new file, style.css, and script.js. And in the script.js, now I'm going to put our constraints, rules, so on and so forth. Let's just read through the project together, and after that we'll write the constraints. So in this project, you'll be creating a pretty neat toy to flex your DOM manipulation skills. You're going to build a browser version of something between a sketchpad and an Etch-a-Sketch. This project should not be easy. You'll probably have to go frequently to find the right JavaScript methods and CSS to use. In fact, that's the point. You can build this using the tools that you already have learned. There are plenty of resources on the net for learning stuff that we haven't covered yet. If you decide you need it, we'll walk you through the basic steps, but it will be up to you to actually implement them. If you get totally stuck, drop by and ask for help in our Discord server. Someone will be there to point you in the right direction. Alright. And the actual assignment. So don't forget to commit early and often. Okay. Follow our instructions or setting up your GitHub projects repository. So I already did that. The first step is already done. Create a web page with a 16 by 16 grid of square divs. So the first constraint, it has to start as a 16 by 16 grid of divs, square divs. Okay. Create the divs using JavaScript. Don't try to create them by hand by copying and pasting them in your HTML file. Alright, so another constraint, the divs have to be created using JavaScript. Alright. It's best to put your grid squares inside a container div. This div can be written in your HTML file. So write a container div to host the square grid. Use Flexbox to make the divs appear as a grid versus just one on each line. Despite the name, do not be tempted to research or use CSS grid, at least as it will be taught in a later lesson after the foundations path. This project is an opportunity specifically to practice Flexbox. So this is not going to be hard because I don't know grid and I only know Flexbox. So use only Flexbox. And constraints. Alright, use only Flexbox. What else? Be careful with borders and margins as they can adjust the size of the squares. Alright, be careful with borders and margins. I'm just going to quickly copy that as a, I'll put it in an asterisk and toggle the word wrap. Alright. What else? Why my grid isn't created? Did you link your CSS style sheet? Open your browser's developer tools, check if there are any errors in the JavaScript console, check your elements panel to see if the elements have actually shown up but are somehow hidden. Go willy-nilly and add a console work statement to your JavaScript to see what's actually being quoted. Set up a hover event so that the grid divs change color when your mouse passes over them, leaving a pixelated trail through your grid like a pen would. So I can actually put this on the right. I think this will be easier. Okay, so hover event to change divs cover and leave a trail. We kind of done this already in one of our example projects. What we did is we started pasting just divs with an absolute positioning after the mouse down event. So, and they were like 4x4 pixel rounded corners, so whenever our mouse went, it just left a trail of those divs. So we kind of did that, and should be quite similar to the Etch-a-Sketch that we're going to do now. Hovering is what happens when your mouse enters a div and ends when your mouse leaves it. You can set up event listeners for either of those events as a starting point. There are multiple ways to change the color of the divs, including adding a new class to the div, changing div's background color using JavaScript. So, alright, hover event. I can also type mouse down or mouse up to start stop. Okay. Add a button on top of the screen that will send the user to a pop-up asking for the number of squares per side for the new grid. Okay. Button to change grid size, asking via pop-up, alert, prompt action, give me a prompt, not promote, prompt. Okay, set the limit. Wait, once generating, the existing grid should be removed and a new grid should be generated in the same total space as before. I'm going to copy that. Okay, what else? Set the limit of the user input to a maximum of 100. User input maximum is 100. A larger number of squares results in more computer resources being used, potentially causing delays, freezing, or crashing that we want to prevent. Research button tags in HTML and how you can make JavaScript function run once is clicked. So this is done by the onClick event. Button on click function. Okay. You should be able to enter a 64 and have a brand new 64 by 64 grid pop-up without changing the amount of pixels used. Alright, so we'll use the base like 960 pixels wide, and whatever the user shows in, either the grid, the divs will get bigger or smaller, but will not occupy more space on the screen pixel wise. Push your project to GitHub. Alright, extra credit. Transform the behavior of a square when interacting with the mouse by introducing transform the behavior of a square when interacting with the mouse by introducing a series of modifications. Rather than squares being the same color throughout the grid, randomize the squares RGB values with each interaction. So those will be bonus. Randomize color on each hover, and we have so we have additionally implement a progressive darkening effect where each interaction darkens the square by 10%. The goal is to achieve a fully black or completely colored square in only 10 interactions. Right. The opacity property is useful here. To learn how to use it, check out MDN docs and so on. You can choose to do either one or both of these challenges. It's up to you. So I think we're going to do both. I'm just going to paste and opacity. Alright, so we have all the rules, all the constraints that we need to follow in order to successfully complete this project. Now I'm going to start the live server. And we're going to call it Etch-a-Sketch. Alright. So they're telling us to write a container div to host the square grid. So we can do a div with the ID of what ID should we put? Grid container or sketch container. Where is the sketch container? Okay. And just so we can better visualize it, I'm going to add a black background. Sketch container, background color black, and do height of 960 pixels by width of 960 pixels. So this is quite large, but I think we'll be fine. I'm just curious if they mentioned that number, because you can divide it by, wait just a second, let me check this out. So 960 divided by 64, can you divide it without a reminder? 55, see if it's a 55 by 55 square. That's going to be interesting how you're going to divide it, because there is a reminder. So if that's the grid, like the container of the whole grid, if someone writes that they want 55 squares on each side, I'm just curious how we're going to do the grid, because there is a reminder, but I think we'll take care of that a bit later. Alright, so let's leave it at that for now, or actually let's make it a little bit smaller so we can center it. So we'll do 480. Yes, I need the calculator for that, leave me alone. 480, okay. And we'll set the body's position and the body's display to flex. And we actually have to remove the margins, I don't like them, the default margins. Margin is 0, and then we do display flex, we do justify content center. Yo, someone subscribed and the alert worked, so thank you so much, Ibnu, well done. I probably butchered this, but thank you so much, my guy. I really appreciate the subscription. The alerts are finally working, I hope. And the subscriber go up updated as well. Thank you so much, man, really appreciate it. We do align, is it align content center or align item center? It's align items. Alright, no. or maybe it's because there is nothing underneath. We have to do width 100 viewport width and height 100 VH. Alright, so we've successfully centered a div, the hardest thing to achieve in programming. So now what we have to do is let me check the constraints. So write a container div to host the square grid. So we did that. I'm going to remove only use Flexbox because it's cluttering the JS file. The divs have to be created using JavaScript. It has to start a 16 by 16 grid of square divs. Alright. So this is going to be a function that is going to be called in the beginning, and then whenever the user wants to input a different size grid, we'll prompt him for a number and use the same function. So this function is going to be called size grid, for example, and it's going to take in a grid, a num grid num, let's say. So I think we'll have to make it a loop inside a nested loop. Let me just think about it, but I think this is the case. And let me just think how we're going to do it. I think this is the tricky part here. So we have to place 16 up top, 16 on the side, and fill it up with divs. I think for starters, let's just visualize it how it's going to look. Although they told us not to do the grid by hand, I'm going to do one div with the class name of grid box, and because I want to style it and see how it looks. So the sketch container, I'm going to remove the background color, but I'm going to add a border of 1 pixel, solid black, just to kind of see it. And then this grid box, we can style it kind of the same actually, grid box, okay. Except the height and the width have to be smaller, so we'll leave them at 80. And grid box, I don't see it. I wonder why that is. It's inside the sketch container. It doesn't say it's saying I haven't saved it. Alright, that makes sense. Sure, so now what happens if we add a lot of those? So they're filling the grid vertically, so one on each line, and if we do more, they start overflowing. So how we're going to do it in order to keep them contained inside of the grid? I think it has to do something, it has to be something with flex wrap, and we have to make this container a flex item, I believe. So display flex. What happens if we add one more? Because this is strange that vertically they overflowed and now they're not overflowing anymore. They're contained by the grid. I see. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. That makes it so much easier, because I think we can do now flex wrap, make it wrap. All right. Now, why is there so much space between them? I'm not sure. Maybe we have to tweak the justify content and align items. So align items, if we do at start, no. All right. If we do justify content, flex start, still not happening. Align items, flex start. And what happens if I add more of those? Right now, as there is not that much space, it started to fill it in until eventually it reaches the bottom, and now it's overflowing. And what if I add even more? Yeah. Okay. So I think it's just making a use of it, of the space as best it can, and I wonder what is the flex wrap. Yep, okay. Justify content doesn't do anything. Align items doesn't do anything. Just a second. All right. So flex wrap I need indeed. But what is the command to make them? Let me put this to responsive. To remove the spacing in between them. Flex. What if we do flex grow? No, I don't think we need that. Flex basis, auto, no. Flex flow, column, row. Yeah, we don't need that. All right. And how many squares can you get into a 480 grid without reminder? So if we do 16, we can do 30. Oh, I have no idea of telling how much those are. We can do grid box times 30. If we remove those, will this be a perfectly filled grid? Nope. Almost. Because they're 80 pixels, this is why. Alright, anyways, we should be able to put even 4, and they should take up the whole space, because if the user enters 4, they should make use of the whole space. And is this, can we do flex grow 2 or 4? So Flexbox elements should take all the available space, fill the remaining height or width of a flex container. I think we shouldn't set default values right here, but using something like what was it? Yeah, so something like this, but also it has to be a grid. So this kind of works if I do more though. It doesn't wrap when we need it. I have two divs side by side in a Flexbox. The right hand one should always be the same width. You use the flex grow property to make a flex item consume free space on the main axis. This property will expand the item as much as possible, adjusting the length to dynamic environments such as screen resizing or the addition removal of other items. A common example is flex grow 1 or using the shorthand flex 1. Alright. This would take up the available space, but how do I do it? How do I tell them that they have to make another row if they don't have a fixed width and height? CSS make element proportional with height units. Make div with proportional height. There was a unit we could use, not EM but CSS size units. All right. Relative EM EX. Relative to the X side of current font. What if we do the height, if we do it to let's say 5% and with 5%, and then we can tweak that in JavaScript. Kind of doesn't work. If we do 10 still okay. 20. That's interesting. What was the unit for relative sizing? Was it FR, CSS FR? This in grid though. Can we do one FR here and one FR? No, I don't think that works. All right. So maybe instead what we can do is let me just think about it. But since if we use the flex grow one, they span throughout all the height. Can we do it in JavaScript to have a whoop inside of a whoop, and the first whoop we'll put these, we'll set up a row, and the second whoop will fill up the columns. And if we do equal number of rows and columns, it will be a grid. So if we actually, these are the same. If we instead rename those to grid row, and we have the same one for grid call, and inside of a dot grid call we have dot grid row times 4, and we have that 4 times, wait, 1 2 3 4, alright, not exactly. For the grid call, if we remove this, what if we do height 20 pixels, width 20 pixels, and do the same here if they're just equal size, but they cannot be equal size though. Yeah, we kind of have a grid. Wait, let me do it. I don't think they should have equal sizing though. Just a second. We do have a grid, but why is this first one thicker than the others? Right, so this is almost it, not quite. What if we do a fifth one? This is not going to work because now we need another row at the bottom. So we kind of need a way to set up the rows and the columns with the nested whoop that we're going to do, but I'm first trying to do it in CSS just to prove my concept. Right, I think I'm going to catch a quick break to kind of let my mind rest and the ideas fall. I'm going to start a Pomodoro timer for 5 minutes and I'll be right back. Pomodoro. Okay. Alright, so I'll start this 5-minute break and I'll be right back. Thanks so yeah, I'm just going to start the break. Thank you. Alright, let me switch the camera back on. So yeah, I took a break to figure stuff out, and I figured that we're going to Google it. They said that the project is meant to make you Google stuff, and I'm going to do that right now. So nonetheless, how to make a Flexbox grid. Don't overthink it. Flexbox grids. Right, so they have a class with the Flex grid, which is my sketch container, and they also have divs with the class of column. Column is the Flex one, and what else do they have? Media max width, Flex grid display block. Okay. Alright, but that's not kind of what I need. Creating a simple Flexbox grid. Yes, they have a class of column again. This flex basis, I don't understand it still. But that is not like, I need an actual grid. They're making like tables. How to create Flexbox grid? Yeah, please tell me. So they have a row, column, specifies the initial main size of a flex item. So column is a flex base of 100. I just quickly want to Google what the flex basics is. Basis. Because like that's a hole in my knowledge and I want to fill the holes I have. So flex basis CSS property says the initial main size of a flex item. It says the size of the content box unless otherwise it's set with box sizing. It is recommended to use the flex shorthand instead of separate flex grow, flex shrink and flex basis. So as I understand, it's like the clamp that you can use for text sizing. So clamp gives you like the minimum, maximum and preferred size you want your text to be. It seems like the flex is the initial size, and from there it can grow or shrink. Alright, I kind of get it. So they're doing, the columns are inside of the rows. Alright, yeah, I'm quickly going to read through that because it will provide me a lot of value for solving this project. I think this is what I need. So thank you, Tanya, who wrote this, if you wrote this. The Flex layout module is good news for web developers everywhere. The part where all major browsers now support it is even better news. A lot of fantastic resources, documentation, and tutorials have sprung up lately. Solved by Flexbox is one of my favorites. In the past, I've used very simple CSS float grids. Oh, who remembers float? If you remember float, type one in the chat. But I don't think anyone uses float anymore. That was a nightmare to use. In the past, I used very simple CSS float grids for website templating, but Flexbox is even better and much simpler. In this quick tutorial, I'll show you how to create an extremely simple, infinitely scalable, responsive grid. So this is exactly what I need. An infinitely scalable, yes please. The demo. Alright, let's see the demo. Perfect, okay. Alright, so We have semantic options for naming the tags and classes, but I'll start off with a simple row and column based naming structure in the vein of Bootstrap, Foundation, Skeleton, and just about every other CSS framework. Note that I'm only writing about the functional code. For the examples, I've added borders and background colors to the grid to make it easier to understand. Alright, so the CSS. With only two classes, row and column, we can create an infinite, equally spaced grid. So row is display flex, flex direction row, flex wrap, and I have I don't have any of those classes for my rows. For the column, flex base is 100, and then they do a media query where the column has a flex of 1. I got a guide to Flexbox. For this grid we only use a few flex properties. Display flex defines a flex container. Flex direction row determines the direction of each child in a flex container as left to right. Flex wrap allows multi-line flex, and then flex base 100 specifies the initial main size of a flex item, which is 100%. I have my mobile breakpoint set to 100. This grid can become more complicated and have more breakpoints, but I like to have just one for mobile, tablet small screens, and one for desktop or screens. Using min-width media queries is optimal for mobile first layout design. We're not doing mobile first. The way this setup, each column will have 100% width on mobile and wrapped down to the next column. On desktop, all the columns will be continued to a single line. Alright, so the HTML. In a framework like Bootstrap, the grid is based on 12 columns. A 50% width column would be written something like col md6. This is much simpler. First, create a row. Inside that row, insert a column. So we have to do it the other way around. Let's take care of all of this, and we'll do grid row, and inside this we'll have grid col times 4. Can we do it again? Times 4? No, just one. Wait, times 4. We didn't add the class. There you go. Times 4. Maybe we can do it like that. Times 4. Times 4. Yeah, sure. And row. Times 4. Okay. So let me save it, and we kind of have the same result. Now inside that row, insert a column. This will give you a 100% white column. Add another column. Okay, I've added 4 so far. The width of each column is 100% divided by the number of columns within the flex container row. Predictably, adding another col will divide them once again. Okay, so let's try adding the CSS and let's see how that's going to work. So I don't know if we need the display flex. Let me just do it without it for now, and We'll see what happens, because I have it on the sketch container. Flex basis. Right, if we save it. Right, it doesn't work, so display flex, since they contain the columns themselves. But now flex wrap, if we remove this, no, display flex, if we remove this, no. So why are the rows? I think the rows should also be taking Alright, that's interesting. What if we say flex grow one? There you go. I think that was it. So if we add another one, keep in mind this will do, like, we'll have 5 rows, but only 4 columns. Okay. That works perfectly fine. We'll just have to add another column. What if we do just 2 rows with 2 columns? We have a 4x4, a 2x2 actually, not a 4x4. Perfect. So I think this is what we need. And we'll make a JavaScript function to determine the name, to determine like how many calls and rows. So we'll have a nested loop that will first start by inserting the rows, and we'll need to have double the columns that we have rows, because we only have 2. So each column is the div that we have to change the color of when we hover with the mouse, and the rows are just. So actually this way, if we look at it, it's like I started in the beginning. I started with the columns holding the rows, and now I've changed their names, but really if you look at it, it's the rows, is the columns holding the rows. Alright, let me scale it up so we'll know for sure, and if that's the case I'll just change the names back. Right, grid column, yes. So this has to be col, and the other one has to be row, or the other one can be just grid box. Right, so we have the grid col will be grid box. Let me also change it here. I'll do it in a minute. Grid row has to be grid col. Alright, and then we can do dot grid col times 4, that will hold grid box times 4. The col has to be uppercase, times 4. Okay, grid col, grid box, they're both classes. Okay, times 4, save it, save it. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, why that didn't work? Grid col times 4. There you go. Alright, this works now. I'm pretty happy with it. Perfect. So we kind of understood how we have to make the grid itself in HTML and CSS, and I believe this is the first part to understanding how to do it in JavaScript, because we've already written the CSS styles, and we now know how to use a for loop, a nested for loop, in order to do the columns and rows. So let's do the function, and we'll do a nested for loop. So for I, let I equal 0, and until I is less than grid num. And first we start with the column. So if we want a for right, yeah, grid num, and we have to make I post post, and this itself will document dot create element, and this will be a div JS create element div with a class. So new element, set attribute. Do I have to set the attribute after I've created the element? Is there a way to do it kind of in a single line? New row.class name. How can I add a class to a DOM element? Create element method. So what are the options? Function add element, new div, append child. Right. So for now, let's do it. Another thing is they probably have to be stored in an array, because I cannot like write const new div and put it in a loop. Create new div with a class in a loop. Yeah, I'm not sure. Creating objects with for loop. Create a div element and give this div element a class. This is not opening. Oh, I like create a div element, give this div element a class attribute, append this div element. I think this is what I'm looking for, but it's not opening. Like it's just loading up top. I open it in a new tab. No. Alright, anyways. Let's say let grid call equals document create new element, and then grid co dot add. What was the for the dot class name? Was that how you add a class name? JS add class name. How to add a class name? I think there are multiple ways. Dot class list dot add. Dot add, and we need it as grid co. Alright, and then we also have to select the sketch container, and this has to be done outside the loop. So we can do const sketch container equals document dot get element by ID, and this is sketch container. Alright, so sketch container dot append child, and we can append grid co. Then we can maybe prompt grid num equals prompt how many calls, and we can call size grid with grid num. Alright, so let's give this a try and see what happens. I'm going to clear the HTML for now, as we're not going to need it. Maybe I can okay, how many calls? Let's say 10. Alright, so this is actually making the 10 columns. That's cool. Okay, and then we can make the nested for loop that will make the rows. So for j, let j equal 0, and until j is less than grid num j post post. Okay, and basically the same thing, but we'll define grid box, create element div, add a class name of grid box, and append it to the grid column. So grid co, and this has to be grid box, I just noticed. So grid co append grid box. Alright, so it will ask me again. I'll put 10 and nothing is happening. Did we go into an infinite loop? It just kind of crashed. Alright, let me stop it, and yeah, probably till I is less than, it has to be j. Alright, I probably did like an infinite loop or something. So how many calls? 10. Perfect. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on each side. Yeah, if we do 100. Alright. Yeah, I see. This is something we'll have to take care of. If we do 50 again, 30. I think the grid is just too small for it, the container holding them, but something like weird happens over here. Maybe it's the border that we have, because here it's set. Be careful with borders and margins, as they can adjust the size of the squares. So I believe it's something like this, but we'll take care of it a bit later. Let me just try it one more time with what happens if we do 5 by 5. Okay, 2, right, perfect. This is cool, I love it. Right, so in the beginning we have to start with a 16 by 16. So in the beginning we can make this am I not putting let anywhere before the grid num? How did I JavaScript is so weird, man, I can tell you. I didn't even put anything before a grid num and it still let me run it. So let's say grid num is 16 and later on we can change it and call the function again. So 16 doesn't work for some reason. Probably because of the border. 15. So 15 still works, but 16 is too much. 16. Can we do box sizing, border box? No, this is not going to fix it. So how do I make the grid without putting a border on each item? Box sizing CSS. So I'm aware there is border box, content box. Let's try box sizing, content box. And I'm not sure if it should be put here on the body. Maybe I should have an asterisk. Box sizing, border box. Alright, that did something, but content box, border box. This is doing something but not fixing my problem. Do you only have border and content box? Box sizing property, content box. This is the initial and default value as specified by CSS standard. The width and height properties include the content but does not include padding, border or margin. Border box, the width and height properties include the content, padding and border but do not include the margin. So maybe we should have border box in our project, but yeah, I'm just not sure why that is happening here. Let me check the elements. By the way, what will happen if we do more than 16, for example? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So no more than 16, it just makes it even worse. Ten is still fine, but after that, no. I'm not even sure how I need to describe the issue in order to Google it. What is exactly happening? So each one has, oh no, why is that? Yeah, I should have 16. Those are 16, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright, so each column indeed has 16 boxes, but they're not positioned correctly. Is it something with the sketch container I have? Definitely not this. Is it the wrap? Or it may be... yeah, see, it's the wrap, I believe. What if I remove the border? Wait. So yeah, it's the wrap. And if I remove the border, it doesn't look consistent, so I think I'll leave the border. But okay, I think we fixed it. What happens if we add 100, let's say? Perfect. Alright, so now it works. Now it doesn't span over the given size we have. So we have to start as a 16 by 16, and then from then on, if the user wants to change it, we can use this function size grid to set whatever size we want. Right, so again, I'll catch a quick break and I'll be right back. Just a sec. Alright. I'm going for a 5-minute break and I'll be right back, guys. Thanks so much. I'll be right back. Alright, I've made myself a new coffee, so let's see how far are we. It has to start as a 16 by 16 grid of square divs. This is done. Also I want to remove those comments. Okay. The divs have to be created using JavaScript. This is also done. Be careful with borders and margins. I think this is done as well. So we now have to set the hover events, but before that I'm going to save it and I'm going to commit it to GitHub. So git status git add dot and git commit message all started the Etch-a-Sketch project and made the required function and styles to make a grid that we will be able to draw on. Alright. And we can just push that finally. Git push. Perfect. Alright, so now we have to start to change the color of those divs on hover. Hover event to change div's color and leave a trail. After that I want to make it so when you click the mouse one time, when you hold it down you can draw, and when you leave it, it stops drawing. But first I'll make it just on hover. So we'll have to add event listener for hover, mouse over event. Yes, this was it. So where do I have to add this event listener? Is it to the now what motivated you to do this challenge? I cannot say still, but in a couple of weeks I'll be able to tell you guys. I rather not say at the moment, sorry, but thank you for commenting and thank you for following the journey. I really appreciate you. Stay tuned and I'll tell you probably in a few weeks. Right, now where do we add this add event listener for mouse over? Is it on one of the grid boxes? Because I don't think we'll be able to access them outside of this function, because we've declared it in this function, and we do them one by one, but I don't think we store it anywhere. Or actually, because it's a class, we'll be able to add event listener to every element with that class. Sergio, thank you for subscribing, my man, really appreciate you. The stream alerts are finally working. I'm so glad. Last few streams I couldn't get them to work, but now it's updating and it's so cool. Thank you so much, my guy. Alright, so let me target the grid call. Yeah, not the grid call, but the grid box. This will probably throw an error, but no, I cannot. Anyways, let me try document dot dot class name or get element by class name, let's say, and do grid box. I don't want to interact too much so you can focus on your grind. Good luck, man. No problem, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate when someone stops by and leaves a comment. I appreciate you, bro. Don't worry. Dot add event listener, and we'll add it for mouse over. Then event, they do an arrow function. I have to get better with those arrow functions. We probably have to, or we can do event dot target actually. Target dot style dot background color is black. Let's say this is probably going to throw me 101 errors, but let's see. I have an error in the console. Document get element by class name add event listener is not a function. So document get elements because it's elements get list. No, I've misspelled listener, but it's still not a function. So how to listen for event on all elements with class name. Select all the buttons with the class name button, query selector all. So we should do query selector all with dot grid box and then add event listener or something like that. Add event listener is not a function. Let me see. Query selector all. So he first puts them in a const. So const grid boxes equals document dot query selector all that have a class name of grid box, and then we need to make a loop. Grid boxes dot for each we don't have to specify the name, I guess. So function, or now we do it actually for each box. We do box dot add event listener for mouse over, and then we do a function that will do box dot style dot background color to black, and after that we can delete this abomination that I've just written. So let's try it out now. So box.style background is not a function. Box.style Because I mistyped background, and probably has to become on case as well. No, background. Yep. Thank you. Background color is not a function. I think it has to be written another way. It has to be like that. Alright, now we can style them on click, but I want to style them on mouse over. I can click on them and they'll change the color, but it's not on mouse over. JS listen for hover. Mouse over event. Add event listener, mouse over. Can we do console.walk and then do the box? Yeah, so is this because I'm in the sure, I was thinking what was going wrong, and it was because I was in the responsive mode, and on mobile you cannot hover, so you can only click and hold down your finger. Let's say on touch screens you cannot hover on an element, so that is why. And now if I reload it, as you can see, we can draw already on the grid. Perfect, that's really cool. I'm going to remove this console walk, and let's see where we're at. Hover event to change diff's color and leave a trail. Okay, perfect. Button to change the grid size. Alright, I think I first want to implement the function to make it start on mouse down and end on when you release the mouse button. I'm going to quickly commit it to GitHub. So git add all, git commit, did the basic Etch-a-Sketch functionality where your mouse leaves a trail, and now I want to start it on mouse down and stop it when you release the mouse. Alright. Push the changes. So now start an event on mouse down and stop it on mouse. I don't remember what was the what was mouse up. Prevent click event after mouse down and mouse up event. Click capture click at event listener for mouse up. Alright, I think I know how to do it on mouse down, but no, actually I'm not sure how to start an event with on mouse down, stop with on mouse up. So yep, I think this is what I need. Have a look at the attached. Your logic looks like it should work, but the attached is how. make it work. Yeah, I don't want to download this. Start an event on MouseDown. Let's see first. This is probably just MouseDown. So now you can click on it because it starts on MouseDown, but it has to listen until we release the mouse. So stop an event on mouse up. Cancel click event in the mouse up event handler. Use the event capture phase. Put an element around an element you want to cancel. So they select the element, they add an event listener for mouse up, and they console walk the mouse up. Then to the window they add an event listener for click, they capture the click. This registers this listener for the capture phase instead of the bubbling phase. So the capture phase was whenever you click on an element, it starts from the window object and it just starts capturing down. It goes to the body, to the div that's holding it, and then to your div, and then starts bubbling up. Let's quickly try ChatGPT because it's I think if we can make it easier for ourselves, that would be better. I want to start this event and it should stop when I release the mouse. I want to start this event and while holding the mouse it should continue changing divs background color. Alright, so let's see, grid boxes for each. When mouse button is pressed down, we add the event listener for mouse down. So up to here everything is the same. On mouse move, check if the function to change the background color on mouse move. Alright, so if the target and the target class list contains box, then change the background color to black and add event listener to change color on mouse move. They just call that function here. Remove mouse move listener when mouse button is released. So I was wondering how we're going to do that to stop it on mouse up, but we just remove the event listener. I think we can do this. Can you optimize this and make it cleaner and I think this can be written much shorter. Const paint. Like, I'm not really sure we need this, but anyways, and everything has to be inside the MouseDown event listener. So document.add event listener for mouse up. Then we do can we do box dot remove event listener? Can't we just do it like that? And we'll stop listening for the mouse down. Let me just see. Console.walk removed event listener. So if we save it and but the thing is now this will not work if I open the console, but it's removing the event listener, and after that no, it's not actually removing it, because this is just the console. This is the console walk before we try to remove it. So uncaught type error, failed to execute remove event listener or on event target, 2 arguments required but only 0 present. So I think we actually have to specify which element we want to remove. Like, I don't really get that. Let me read through the explanation. So mouse down event triggers the color change for the click box and starts tracking the mouse move event. So mouse down here, it changes the style of the click box and then starts to track the mouse move event. And on mouse move, if the event target and the event target class list contains box, so if it's a grid box target, it makes it black. So the mouse move event listener on mouse move changes the color of boxes as the mouse moves over them. When the mouse button is released, mouse up, both the mouse move and mouse up listeners are removed, stopping the color change. On mouse move, on mouse up. He removes the event listener. That's kind of strange how this is another event listener for the mouse up and then it removes this itself. Yep. Alright, so this has to be a more concise version of the same code. And on mouse up, we add a constant paint, which is equal to the event and the event. Right, yeah, so I guess this is more concise, but it's more difficult to understand. So I'm just going to recreate this one. Let me try to recreate it from memory to see if I'll be able to. So we do that. I will not be able to. I just figured it out, but what else we have to do is no. So on mouse move, this one I will not be able to recreate it from memory. add event listener mouse move on mouse move function. So document dot add event listener for mouse move. Can't we do it on mouse over? And can we do it on mouse over and then mouse over and then kind of do the same thing? Seems like we cannot. Alright, I'll do it like function. We're missing the comma. Alright, so can we do that and then document dot remove event listener from the mouse over, and what event should we put in here? I'm wondering, because this is a nameless function. Just a second. Can we just put it like that? Probably not. So failed to execute event listener on event target. Remove event listener. It takes the type and the listener. So mouse down, handle mouse down. How do I remove an event listener if when I added the event listener, I added the argument as a nameless function. Use a named function. So use a name function inside the function to a variable or define it separately. Use options if you want to. If you want the listener to automatically remove itself, you can add it with once true, so it only fires once and then it removes itself. I don't need this. Only one present. When I remove the event listener, I shouldn't have done it here. Add event listener, and then can we do it like this? Probably not. Alright, if we say paint. Paint is not defined. Alright, I'm going to define it, no worries. Can we do then function paint that does this, and then we can just call it paint. Now what do we type inside of those brackets? Document add event listener paint without the brackets. Okay. Function, now I want a function. So let's see now. I have to close this. Right, still doesn't work. I don't think we do the paint on mouse over, because yeah, I'm not sure why actually. But we don't do the paint on mouse over. Let's try mouse move. Mouse move paint, and this still doesn't work. Alright, let's just shamelessly steal it from here. Not this one, this one. So we want, we're probably missing this. Let me try to add this to the function to see if it will save me, and if not, I'm just copying it from ChatGPT. Alright. No. Alright. Anyways. So let's get it over with. We add an event listener for MouseDown, and then we change the background color. Then we do this function which is on mouse move and a target of E. Wait, let me just do one last thing, because I forgot to add the E. Nope, still doesn't work. Alright, on mouse move E, then we check if, and then we do E dot target dot style and so on. We add the event listener for mouse move, and we say on mouse move. Okay, this still doesn't work. And let me just copy this. No, so it still doesn't work. Am I getting any errors? No. When does this end? Here. No, okay, this is not working as I expected. So it's probably ChatGPT that's telling me bullshit, but this does not work. Let me try this one. It works on mouse down, but on mouse move it doesn't work. See, like if I write mouse down here, it starts painting in, but if I start by mouse down, it doesn't listen for the mouse move. Can I do console.walk mouse moved? Okay, let's see if we got those. Yeah, we got the console walk. We're not calling paint with the. I'm just curious if can we call it with E? Oh, now I have to close this. E is not defined. Right, I'm just not sure it knows what to paint, so no, it only console walked the box that we initially clicked, but it does not keep listening for the mouse move. And can we do it with box.add event listener for mouse move? Right, so again, this doesn't change anything. Let me close this out. Maybe we have to add the mouse move event listener and do everything inside this mouse down, and then instead of paint can we do just an arrow function and inside of here change this. Okay. Right, now it does fire when we move the mouse. Let me just try it one more time. So before we click anywhere, it doesn't register, but once we click and start moving the mouse, we have a lot of calls here, a lot of console walks, but they're only pointing to the box that we initially clicked. So we have to make it in a way that it follows the mouse target. And I think this is done with e.target, although I think somewhere we have to define e. Wait, so the same test again. Paint is not defined, that's okay. So maybe we have to add the event listener to the document. Okay. No, it just targets the document. I'll have to think about it a little bit. Target element mouse move. Add event listener mouse move and event on mouse move. Can we this is probably stupid what I'm doing. Wait though, alright. Now it's kind of doing it, I guess, and we can just do E. Wait. No, cannot set properties of undefined. E dot target. Okay. And alright, we kind of done it, but now okay, we went a little overboard. We just have to see to where we have to attach the event listener. Sometimes it takes the rows, which is what we want. Sometimes it takes the columns, which is not what we want. And if we go over it, it just paints the whole thing black. And on mouse up, event listener also doesn't work. So I'll take a quick break and I'll be right back to see how we can fix this. Let me start a quick timer again. Alright. 5-minute break once again. I'll be right back with you guys and we'll make more progress. Thank you so much. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I think I kind of figured it out. It just struck me that we have to make some sort of validation here. Let me just save it, refresh it once, and alright, you see now how it makes everything like black that we hover over, and we have to make like a little validation here. If e.target.quasList.contain how do you say that? I think it was in ChatGPT, but he made a little validation. QuasList, yeah, he did the same. Quas e.target.quasList contains, and we do grid box then we do that. So paste in here. I think we can remove this console log. Let's try once more. Okay, see, now this is much better. Now the only thing I need is to be able to stop it when I let go of the mouse. Do we have any errors? Yes, paint is not defined. And can we just leave it like that? Why do we have to add? Add event listener on mouse up, and then inside of it, can we remove this and just make it like that? Or I need the semi, I need the bracket. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. If I hover over it without first clicking, it doesn't work. Once I click, we have it working. But as I can see, one thing is, if I click on a tile, it does not change the color, and once I start moving the mouse, then it changes it, which kind of bugs me. So maybe we can do that. Box.style.background color is equal to black. Right, so now it works. Now when I click on it, it turns black, and then when I start moving the mouse, also I leave a trail. If I do it really quick, it doesn't register, but I don't think that's an issue with my app necessarily. Now I'll paste that in ChatGPT and say this code works, but the only issue is that I cannot stop drawing on mouse up, so please help me fix it. Maybe I need a mouse up event also in the mouse move. The issue is that you're adding anonymous function as the mouse move listener, which makes it impossible to remove it later. To fix this, define the mouse move listener as a named function so it can be referenced and removed. Alright, I just quickly want to copy that and paste it just to see if that thing works before I move on to implement it, and it kind of works. Just a second. Alright, so if we do it really strictly, click on it, like move the mouse slowly, let it go, it works. But I kind of bugged it, yeah. See, right now I'm not holding the mouse down, and when I click on it, it stops, and I'm not sure how I'm doing this exactly. I think I'm dragging or something like that. No. Clicking it fast, like I'm not sure about it. Anyways, I'll just kind of look at ChatGPT's code and see how I can do it myself. So he makes this paint function, which is it's strange how he defines it. It's a function, but it's also a constant. So const paint, that is equal to e and then row function. Here it basically takes in the if statement, and that's it. So I can paste it here, and here on the event listener, on mouse move, we just call paint, and then after that, on mouse up, we remove the event listener for mouse move, called paint, and that thing that says once true, I'm not sure about it either. I did something wrong though. Okay. And write this 1, 2. I don't need all of this, I don't think. Yeah. Can I just say paint here? Would that work? No, alright. So I also need to remove the mouse up event, which is done with that once true. Oh, actually, mouse up. No, I've actually haven't written it correctly. Yeah, I didn't see that. So we have a function here that goes into document dot remove event listener mouse move and then paint, and here I can stop it, I guess. Now we'll see if I need this once true. Okay. Yeah, I think I need it because now nothing happens when I let go of the mouse. So we add it here once true. No, still doesn't work. What did I do wrong? because here if I just click, it keeps on drawing, and it's not me holding the mouse. I want to hold the mouse, and then when I release it, it should stop. So let's see what we did wrong. Target class list contains grid box. This is the same basically. We forgot to add a document here. Still the same. Still the same. So what else? Document, add event listener, mouse up. Document, remove event listener, mouse move, paint, once, true. It seems exactly the same to me. Box, add event listener for mouse down, arrow function, box style black, define paint. Document, add event listener for mouse move, and then paint. Are there any errors in the console? Line 46, remove event listener. Right, I see now. Alright, that was silly. Now it works. Okay. Perfect. Now, do we need this? I don't think we need this. It works exactly the same. Sometimes it can, if you click it too fast and move it or something, you can break it and it starts drawing when you're not holding the button. But that's okay for now. So perfect, we can commit that as well. Alright, let me save it and commit it. Git add git commit. Added functionality, no. Now when you hold the mouse down, you start drawing, and when you release it, it stops drawing. Alright, save this and push it to Git. Perfect. So if we check where we're at with the constraints, we've done this now. So I think next we'll add the button to change the grid size, and this should be pretty straightforward. On top of the grid we should add a button with the ID of size dash button and change grid size. Now the thing is, since the body is display flex, we have to, what was it? We have to write flex direction com so they can be on top of each other, and then we'll just style the button for good measure. So we'll do ID of what was it? Size button, size btn. We'll do margin margin bottom of 10 pixels. We'll do 20. We'll do border none. We can do padding 10 pixels, 20 pixels, and background color, let's say blue violet. This is kind of ugly, but I don't know what color to use. Can we use orange? I like orange. Alright. Border radius of 5 pixels. Then color. Let's do white. White. No, I think black would be better. So black, and font size. Can we not use font size? Oh no, we can, but font size, let's do 30 pixels. That's a little bit too much. 24. Still a little bit too much. 18. That's about right. Okay. So we have this button, suspiciously in black and orange color, to change the grid size. And let me save this. Trigger function on button press. Use HTML button. We had to type on click do function. Can we not do it with an HTML button? They use input type button, probably they use it in a form. As far as I know. On click event. On click, and you just write the function name. Let's do that first. So the function should be, let's say, function ask size, and inside of it we'll do grid num equals to prompt, and what size grid do you want? Alright, and then we call size grid with the grid num. But probably this function should be after size grid, although I don't think it matters, but and now button on click we say ask size. Right, so let's see if that works now. Okay, 20 pixels. Right, so So we should initialize the grid. We should remove the old grid first, because this is the old grid right here, and this is the new 20 by 20 size grid right here on the right. So how do we do it? We can add a function on the ask size to remove all the children of the grid container, or we can do it every time in the size grid if there are children of the container, to remove them. But I think I'm going to do it in another function. So function clear grid, and now check for children of element in JavaScript. How to check if an element has any children? A couple of ways. How to remove all children element. How to remove all children of element in JavaScript. We can remove all children from an element using the first child property of the element and a while loop. So I guess while element has first child is true, element dot remove first child. Let's see. Or we can remove all children using the inner HTML. I think this is going to be like easier. Let's try this one. If we say document dot get element by ID, and we use, what was it? Sketch container. It's an ID, right? Yeah, sketch container. Sketch container dot inner HTML equals nothing, and we can just use clear grid after asking for size. Let's see if that works. Alright, so we have it, we can draw on it, so on. When we ask for a different size, 20, right, so now it sets a new grid. The thing is though, we cannot draw on it. We cannot draw on the new grid. Where is that? Elements. We still have the columns with all the items. Console is clean. 30. Make it 10 again. But we cannot draw on it. No, nothing happens when you try to draw on it. Nice, still doing. Thank you so much, Marco SM. Thank you for the support, my guy, and for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Yeah, I'm trying to go through the Odin project. We're making an Etch-a-Sketch, so we can draw on it now. But what we're currently facing is when we change the grid size. We changed it successfully, but we cannot draw on it. So when we click on this button and we ask for a size, we trigger this function. that changes the grid number to whatever size we input. We clear the grid, so we set the sketch container in HTML to none, so it has no children. We clear it up completely, and then we set a new grid by appending children and so on. But now I think it's maybe because of this, or I'll just add a console log here and see if that console log fires twice, because if not, then we don't set these grid boxes to the query selector row of the class grid box. So we'll do hello, and this should fire. I think it will probably fire once, and this is our problem. So if we check the console, now it fired once. If we do 20, it's still once. So what happens is we initially, when we refresh the page, we set this const of grid boxes, and after that, when we change the grid size, we no longer go into here, and the new grid boxes are not what we have in this variable, in this constant right here. So the loop right here doesn't really work. I think this has to be put in a separate function, which will be paint probably. So we can make a function called paint, and we can trigger it after ask size. So function paint will just host all of this inside of it, and after we set size grid, we can actually just call paint, or at least that's what I believe we can do. We'll see now. So yes, now we can still paint, and if we change the grid size, we can still paint. Perfect. Let's do 5. Alright, let's do 30. I think because of what I did with holding the mouse down, sometimes it tries to drag, and it doesn't register that I'm holding the mouse. Let's do 25. But yeah, it basically works. Maybe I'll revert it. See, now it's trying to drag, and this is why it's not registering that I paint. So probably I did this, so I'll remove it, and I'll try to remove the ability to drag on the grid and instead make it paint. So I'll figure out how to remove problems. I can't help you. I'm doing design. No worries, my man. I'm figuring stuff out. What design are you doing? Do you have something we can show on stream, like a portfolio or something? Are you doing web design, or you're doing well? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So what design are you doing? Are you doing like graphic design, web design, Figma? Perfect. my guy. I'm trying to make my girlfriend learn Figma so we can do websites together. If you have some templates or a portfolio, you can link it in the chat. We'll take a look at it. Once entered, the existing grid should be removed. Add a new grid. Yeah, so this is also done. And this as well. And button on click function, this is done. We're almost done with it, except the bonus part. There are just a few things to set. So the maximum input of the user should be 100, and we should probably find a way to restrict him from entering more than 100. I'll see how we're going to do it. Maybe we can look at the other submissions. Let's check out how other people did it. Live preview. So this is, I don't really like this one. You're on 5 right now. 5 what? Still learning, but I'm on 5M. Is this 5M? Yeah, I'm not sure what 5M is. But change size, they say max 90, so if we do 99, what do? They ask again. Okay, they ask again. We can do 50. Let's see someone else. Change number of squares, max is 100, so if we do 110, must be positive number less than 100, and they ask again. You're on the 5th month. Cool, bro. There is a lot to learn with web design, I believe. I can show you one of my websites. This is my business actually, and I did design and everything, but I've done it in WordPress and Elementor. I haven't used Figma or anything. It's not the best, but I think it gets the job done. I'm mostly proud about this sales page. This is my business right here, and but I haven't used any software to do it. Just kind of what I know from previously using Photoshop and so on. Thank you, my guy. I really want my girlfriend to learn Figma so we can redesign this and make more websites. But yeah, what they're kind of doing, I can see, is if input is more than 100, they alert the user that it should be less than 100 and ask again. So I'll probably make this functionality and then end the stream, but let's see how we're going to do that. Where is the here we ask for a prompt, and if I'm curious if we can put all this in the if itself. So if ask for prompt so on is more than 100, then we can alert grid size should be less than 100, and if it's not, we can just proceed with it. Oh wait, we have to ask again, so this probably the whole thing we have to ask again. but now I don't think this will work again, because even if it works like that and we can ask him directly in the if, then we'll alert him and ask him one more time, but after this he can still input more than 100, and we'll continue onwards with it. Let me just quickly test it. 100 and just 1000. Grid size should be less than 100. Okay, they ask again, and if we put 90 it will work. If we put 90 the first time, okay, that doesn't work. 50. Alright, so probably we cannot ask it inside of the if statement. How do we continually check though? How do we continually check if he has entered the right amount? So let me get rid of this if statement for now, and this one as well. So we ask for the size, and then if grid num is more than 100, then we alert him. And is there a way to return back to asking him? Maybe in a while loop. Alright, so in a while loop we'll ask him for the grid num, and while grid num is more than 100, yeah, I think this will work. We'll alert him and then ask him for the prompt again. Okay, but we have to set it as grid num equals to prompt, and I think this is going to work. Let's see. Change grid size. If we do 50, this is below 100, we can write in it. Okay, if we set it to 110, it will say grid size should be less than 100. 150, no. Okay, 90. Alright, yeah, you cannot see it, but probably very well, but it works. Okay, 500. Perfect. Thank you so much, Marcus. See, you can help me even though you're a designer. Thank you so much, my guy. I was struggling with that. I really appreciate you. That is amazing how you guys help me in the chat. I truly enjoy it. Perfect. So let's see, we've taken care of that. So user input is maximum of 100. They get alerted and asked again, so we can remove all this from the to-do. And right, so we've been going at it for close to 3 hours, and I think this is the time to end the stream because I'm getting a little bit tired. And also in my day-to-day life I don't speak that much, so after those streams I'm getting a sore throat and I'm trying to deal with that, but I'm going to get used to it, I guess. So thank you so much. I'll have another stream tomorrow and we'll keep hacking at it. I'll probably work on it on off stream as well, but we'll see how far I'll get. Thank you so much, my guys, for tuning in and supporting me and supporting the stream. I truly appreciate you guys. So I'm signing off for today, and tomorrow we'll have another stream. Thanks so much. I love you guys, and till next time, peace out. Bye bye.